So how many times have you ever felt weak inside? Yung tipo na may problema ka, but you can't really tell anybody, yung meron kang pinagdadaanan sa buhay, or meron kang tinatry na solusyonan kahit na gulong-gulo ka na. Pero because you cannot be perceived as a weak person, and by who? Maybe people who are depending on you, kung ikaw yung breadwinner ng family nyo, or ikaw yung talagang pinaguhugutan ng lakas, this video is going to be for you. Makinig ka. Alam ko napapagod ka. Alam ko mahirap. Alam ko minsan wala kang mapagsabihan ng sakit, pero tuloy ang buhay. Kasi maraming nakadepende sa'yo. Do you really need to always be positive? Do you always need to smile at people even if you're at the lowest point of your life? Is this really necessary? Ang totoo niyan, guys, this was my belief for the longest time. I thought I needed to always be positive. Kasi 'di ba syempre kung ano yung ina-attract mo sa buhay mo, kung positivity, negativity, then that's the kind of output that you have in your life. So yun yung belief ko dati. Tsaka I didn't wanna be labeled as toxic, na pag around ako ng ibang tao tapos things are not going well with me tapos may emotions ako. I tried to really hide it kasi I didn't wanna be perceived as a negative person. However, after doing that for many, many years, it took such a toll on me. Kaya masaya ako nung na-realize ko yung concept ng toxic positivity, okay? And I'm gonna explain it to you. Having a positive outlook in life, don't get me wrong, it's easier to thrive in a positive environment. So if you can make your environment or whatever situation you're in as positive as possible, given the things that you can control, okay? Because you can only focus on what you can control. Then, generally, it's easier to thrive in that environment. Now, the reality is, strong people, okay, ito yung talagang mga nagka-come out stronger, they develop that strong personality not in the positive circumstances or environment. They have learned to develop that during the darkest hours. Ngayon, gusto ko explain sa inyo the definition of the toxic positivity. It is a belief that whatever happens in your life, whatever you may be going through, regardless of your emotions, you always have to be positive. Okay, so yun yung toxic positivity. And we will break it down what it truly means and how it actually affects you in a negative way if you keep on doing it and not acknowledging what you're going through. So I'll give you an example. Kunyari ikaw may problema ka tapos gusto mo maging vulnerable to someone who you trust, right? So we all have this connection, might be your family, your spouse, o yung matalik mong kaibigan. Let's say you become vulnerable because that is your safe space to, become one. But I'll give you an example of what other people might tell you in order to avoid big emotions or because they don't want to confront big emotions kasi nga, di ba, nagsasabi ka sa kanila and for them, it stresses them out. So in turn, they suddenly tell you just instead of dealing with all your problems, just to stay positive. For example, magbibigay lang ako ng random example, okay? Kunyari, you lost a relationship, right? They might say, you know what, don't think about it, always be positive, don't focus on the negative. Right? Everything happens for a reason. So they might tell you that. O kaya naman ikaw yung breadwinner sa family niyo tapos nawalan ka ng trabaho and people might tell you, you know what, everything happens for a reason. People have it worse. Like, just be grateful. Like, kahit alam naman nila na ikaw yung breadwinner and mapuputulan na kayo ng ilaw next week, diba? O kaya let's say nalugi yung business mo so nawalan ka ng pera. Instead of really acknowledging what you feel, they're gonna tell you, you know what, just stay positive or on to the next business or, just be grateful. These are what people tell you when you become vulnerable, okay? Because it takes a lot for somebody to become vulnerable and open up to someone, lalo na in their lowest moment of their lives. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying, okay? Ako, sabi ko nga, being positive in life, having positive outlook, it really brings a lot of good things to your life, okay? Kaya nga sinasabi ko, I believe in positivity too. Kaya lang, as humans and going through the journey of life, magkakaroon tayo ng mga moments sa buhay natin na talaga namang napaka-dark or like low, rock bottom, whatever you wanna call it, right? And kapag ito yung mga responses na nakukuha natin, especially from the closest people whom we really look up to when it comes to insights, counsel, like just generally advice, right? It actually does more harm than good. And hindi ko naman sinasabi na yung ibang tao, when they do something like this, they mean harm. There's just just this psychology that sometimes people don't want to confront big emotions, such as kapag nagsasabi ka ng mga big emotions na tao, they want to avoid it because number one, they may not know how to handle it, or number two, they don't really want to deal with it because maybe they also have problem in their own and they're just politely telling you that they don't want to deal with your problem too. Does that make sense? So bakit to nagiging harmful sa isang katulad mo kung ikaw yung tao na nag-open up sa ibang tao? Number one is it suppresses your real emotion. Kasi guys, as humans, we can't help but feel emotions. That's what makes us human, right? So kung ikaw yung tao na let's say may negative na nang nangyayari sa buhay mo, galit ka, malungkot ka, nade-depress ka, or you're feeling lost, right? That's emotion. And those are big emotions. Kaya nga minsan yung tao, they don't want to deal with it, right? Kasi they may not know how to handle it, or they just want to avoid it. They don't want to confront their big feelings, okay? So kaya silang nagre-resort dun sa mga positivity or toxic positivity na tinatawag. Pero ikaw as humans, you have real emotion na kapag paulit-ulit nilang sinusuppress yon, and that's what makes you human, you're losing yourself even more in the process. Kaya ikaw, baon ka ng baon, ignore ka ng ignore sa emotion mo. Kaya no wonder isang araw, sumasabog tayo, right? We don't know where all these emotions come from. Let's say na-trigger yung suppressed emotion mo. Malas lang ng taong kausap mo because it's all gonna explode and they don't have any choice but to handle it. Tapos ano pa yung magiging effect sa'yo nito? It makes you feel guilty na parang ikaw pa yung masama kasi nagkakaroon ka ng negative emotion. You feel guilt of why do you even feel this way? Is this even normal? Kasi sabi nila dapat maging positive ako kahit wala na kaming pera o kaya hindi ko kayang i-sustain yung family ko, hindi ko kaya mag-provide. They said I still need to be positive even though na hindi ko na alam yung next na gagawin ko. You feel guilty. Tapos kapag paulit-ulit nilang sinasabi sa inyo to, nawawala yung human connection kasi nga emotions, especially the big emotions, are what makes us human. So kapag shut-down ng kausap mo yung emotion mo, especially if you're being courageous by opening yourself to them, like it takes courage. Ako, it takes a lot for me to open up to someone, and I would only open up to someone who I really trust and look up to for advice and counsel. Pero it takes courage. So kapag shutdown lang ng kausap mo yung emotion mo, you lose touch. Talagang nawawala yung human connection kasi may disconnect, right? Tapos, ikaw na nga yung mag-share ng emotion, ikaw na nga yung magiging vulnerable, i-judge ka pa in some ways. That's why you feel the guilt. And most of all, guys, it delays healing. Kasi healing involves a process where you have to go through a roller coaster of emotions, right? Diba pag nag-heal tayo, we may become mad, furious at the beginning, tapos in denial, and then everything starts to sink in. This is where you can start to feel sorrow or depression until acceptance kicks in. You see, if you haven't gone through feeling the anger, tapos in denial, and then maybe in shock, whatever the healing process requires of you to go through, if you don't go through that, you will never heal. Kasi bakit? Dahil umpisa pa lang, yung emotions mo, shutdown mo na, sinuppress mo na agad. And that is one of the biggest flaws kaya sa society natin ngayon, guys, yung maraming feeling lost and they feel depressed kahit hindi nila alam yung underlying reason. Pero hindi nila alam yung emotions na from the very beginning of time, they kept suppressing. Kaya kung kayo naman yung taong pinagsasabihan ng mga tao sa paligid nyo, or you become that a trusted person of that person, or if you become the trusted individual ng isang tao, try to be conscientious of what you tell people. Don't just shut them down. Or let's say, kung hindi mo talaga alam yung sasabihin mo, kasi meron din tayong human nature na we want to make someone feel better. And sometimes we don't know how to make them feel better because, again, healing doesn't have to be better at the beginning. So it is not your responsibility to make them feel better. Honestly, for me, kapag may nagsasabi sa'yo ng problema nila and you become the trusted individual of that person, honestly, your job is to listen. It's not even to give advice. It's just to listen. Minsan, ako personally, kapag nag-share ako ng problem, let's say sa spouse ko or maybe with my sister, Sometimes I don't even want their advice. I just want a person to listen to me. I just want someone who can handle my emotion. Kaya nga trusted individual, right? It's not like you are sharing this with every single person that comes to your life. Kaya ako, you don't even have to say it's gonna be okay or it's okay, be positive. For me, masaya na ako kapag vina-validate yung feelings ko na parang, you know what, you absolutely have every right to feel this way. Na ma-validate ka lang na okay lang naman maging malungkot, okay lang naman magalit, okay lang naman maging ganito. And again, there's always a fine line. Depende naman kung sobra-sobra naman yung emotion mo. Tapos yung irason naman, it's not like justifiable dun sa emotion mo. Iba namang topic yun. But I'm just saying that kapag may nagsasalita sa inyo, it's your job is not to give advice. It's actually just to validate the feeling. It's not even to make the person feel comfortable. If you could and you know how to, then go on. So be very conscientious when that happens. Okay, so bakit ko nasabi sa inyo to? Balik ulit tayo dun sa conversation na paano kapag ikaw yung breadwinner or paano kung ikaw yung may malaking goals, meron kang ina-achieve sa buhay. But most often than not, especially kapag nagsisimula ka pa lang, there are a lot of unknowns, there are a lot of emotions that you need to go through, especially if you're dealing with failures, series of failures na kung talagang may big goals ka, my friend, this is what I'm going to tell you. You are bound to experience a lot of failures. And with failures come a lot of negative emotions. Bakit? Kasi nga nag-fail ka. And no one becomes happy when they fail. And that's a fact. So ngayon, na entrepreneur ako and I've had many failures, na-appreciate ko yung failures before. But if you're on that situation and you're failing, guys, you're gonna have negative emotions. So be ready when they happen. So ngayon, instead of being just positive, be grateful, or whatever other people may tell you whenever you're encountering negative feelings, bibigyan ko kayo ng mga tips na talagang makakatulong sa inyo for when you have to go through these negative emotions without losing who you truly are. Number 1, you don't need positivity to succeed in life. All you need is consistency. Ang totoo niya naman talaga sa negosyo, it doesn't really care about your emotions. It doesn't care about what you feel. What it cares about is the hours that you put in. If you show up every day and you put your head down and actually keep doing the work that you're supposed to do. Napansin niyo ba sa business, guys, di ba? Yung kausap niyo sa negosyo, when they're closing transaction, when they keep doing their operations, nagko-close pa rin sila ng mga deals nila, you absolutely have no idea what those people are going through. All you see is that they do what they're supposed to do. Because honestly, success only cares about that. Do you continue to show up and do what you're supposed to do regardless of your emotion? Katulad ko ngayon, right? Marami akong problema ngayon sa business. Particularly, I'm dealing with one problem sa isa kong transaction ngayon. And I have 2 options. I could just curl up my bed and not do the whole entire thing. Or I can continue to show up like I am doing right now and do the things I'm supposed to do. So, hindi naman kasi nakikita ng ibang tao yung struggle mo. But at the end of the day, they don't really need to see it, right? I could be recording this video right now feeling angry or feeling sad and you may not even see it. Kasi kung nakikita mo, yun yung pinaniniwalaan mo. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, regardless of your emotions, you can be angry, you can be mad, you can be sad. So those are your variables kasi ang emotion mo nagfa-fluctuate. But your absolutes, those are your non-negotiables. Are you still doing the things that you're supposed to do even though you're experiencing different emotions, right? That's what success cares about. Okay? So instead na isuppress mo yung emotion mo, na doon ka mag-focus, oh my gosh, how am I gonna suppress my emotion today? If you need to work mad, then work mad. If you need to work like your tears are falling down your face, send those emails, do your phone calls, do what matters, do what moves towards your goals in life. Kasi yun lang naman taga makakatulong dun sa goal mo. Ano pa? You feel defeated? Edi mag-hustle ka. And if you need to hustle while you're sad, if you need to hustle while, let's say, you're grieving, if you need to hustle while you're lost, edi gawin mo yun, right? Be consistent, right? Don't focus on your emotion. You are a human being. Let your emotions feel what it needs to feel, but for you, You have to do what you're supposed to do while allowing yourself to feel what it needs to feel that makes you a human being. Tapos ano pa, you feel ashamed kasi nawalan ka ng trabaho? I would be very mad. Bakit? Kasi yung pamilya ko sa akin nakadepende. So anong gagawin ko? Mag-hustle ako, maghahanap ako ng trabaho, maghahanap ako ng pagkakakitaan kahit galit ako. Okay? The world doesn't stop because you feel something. Naiintindihan nyo to guys? Napakahalaga nito especially kung nagnenegosyo ka or you're trying to achieve something in life because the truth of the matter is if you're coming from nothing and you're trying to build something, you're gonna have to go through the darkest emotions that you will ever have. Whatever your response to those emotions will be the breaking point, whether you're gonna be successful or whether you're gonna continue to keep failing. Imagine you guys, if the pilot flew based on his or her mood, I don't think there's any passenger that would reach their destination. Kapag ganito yung belief niya guys, whatever life throws at you and whatever you feel in response to those negative experiences, you will be okay. Because at the end of the day, you know exactly that what matters is not what you feel. It's what you do despite of what you feel. Okay, what's the next one, guys? Negative emotions are not your real enemy. In fact, they can be a fuel for you to push to do bigger things. Tatandaan nyo guys, emotions are very powerful. They can move mountains with the right intentions. Kaya kung gagamitin nyo itong mga emotions na to, and what are the biggest emotion? Usually yan yung mga fear, right? Kaya nga di ba may concept sa selling minsan na parang people sell based out of fear. And sometimes they don't even sell the products. They just sell fear, right? Emotions. They sell it to people. That's how they market and people will buy the product. Whatever product they have, if they position the emotion as a center of their marketing. Isa to sa concept ng marketing. That's how powerful emotions are. So bibigyan ko ng example guys. So someone betrays you. So you feel helpless, you feel so sad, you feel like you've been betrayed na kahit na sobrang daming value na binigay nyo dun sa tao, they still betrayed you. Imagine what kind of emotion you're going to feel when someone does this to you. So ngayon naramdaman niya na kung paano mabetray ng let's say kaibigan or kunyari meron kayong partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, right? You remember that feeling. So ano yung mafe-feel nyo next time? You have this burning urge to change yourself, maybe physically, mentally, or emotionally. You want to improve those aspects kasi you are afraid to feel being betrayed again. See, that's the emotion. Now, kapag ganun yung na-feel mo as an emotion, you're just naturally going to find ways on how you improve yourself in these aspects. Kasi nga, you are afraid, again, the emotion, you are afraid to feel the same way again. Ano ba? Let's say nag-failed ka sa business mo, right? Or may taong nanloko sa'yo. Yung emotion na yon, whatever you felt, right? You're gonna remember that. You're gonna remember the feeling. You're gonna remember the details. You're gonna remember all these things. And that's how you're gonna learn. So for when the next time it happens or it shows the red flags, right? The same amount of details na nakita mo, well, it's just naturally going to make you a better person. Kasi totoo niyan, guys, negative emotions, especially kapag nag-a-achieve ka ng bigger things in life, they are gonna be your fuel. Ito yung mga magiging catalyst mo for your next breakthrough, right? Kung mawawalan ka na ng tirahan, or maybe you feel so ashamed kasi kahit na sobrang dami mo ng negosyo na tinry, wala pa rin nagsasucceed, or you feel hopeless, you feel worthless, you feel useless, right? You're gonna need to feel those emotions kasi kapag sobrang lalim na nung emotion mo na parang hindi ko na to kaya, that's really what's gonna open up your eyes na actually I need to do something about it. It will be a catalyst. Di ba? Yung mga pinaka-successful nga na tao na kilala natin, they are the ones who have gone through so much negative emotions because they have gone through like the lowest point of their lives. And again, it depends on how you respond to those emotions, whether you're gonna come out stronger on the other end. Alam mo, i-share ko sa inyo yung isa kong negative emotion na every time I feel this, you know, I am always bound to do bigger things. Para lang makakalaman nyo kung how you can apply this. Let's say, meron tao na nang mamaliit sa inyo, meron tao na nagsi-self-doubt, and sometimes these are the people that you might think that would support you in the first place, but they are the ones na talagang nagda-doubt sa'yo, na dinidiscourage ka, they don't even give chance to you, or magda-doubt pa, right? Or hindi ka na nga susuportahan kung ano-ano pang sinasabi sa'yo. So, alam ko guys, especially if you guys are at the beginning of your journey, let's say say sa negosyo, marami nitong na magda-doubt sa inyo. And that's just a full disclosure. Pero every time na nakakarinig ako ng ganong mga tao, guys, it fuels me. My emotion, I'm like, watch me. Watch me do it. Watch me grow it. Watch me break your limiting beliefs on me. Kaya yung emotion na yun, guys, ano ko yun kinocultivate ko yun. Yes, it may be negative, pero sa isip ko at sa puso ko, kinocultivate ko yun. And I'm not to say it's a revenge, right? Instead of feeling pity or feeling sad, I capture that emotion and I cultivate it. And I will keep reminding myself of those people who doubted me or who don't support me. And sinasabi ko lagi sa isip ko, you just watch me. That eventually becomes positive kasi nga yung resulta nung ginawa ko dun sa negative emotions na yun, it makes me a better person overall. Okay guys, here's the last one. Ito yung isa sa pinaka-importante when it comes to negative emotions and if you really wanna become successful. Ang totoo niyan guys, real growth happens when nothing positive is happening. Okay? Okay, naniniwala ba kayo doon, guys? Kasi nasabi ko rin sa inyo, guys, kanina, di ba? It's so much easier to do good things, to perform when things are going good. Alam nyo guys, it's easy to feel positive when things are going great. Totoo yun, kasi everything is easy, you feel motivated, you have every inspiration that you have. So yeah, naturally, you're gonna do good. But the reality of the situation is, real growth happens when nothing positive is happening in your life. Kasi guys, dun matetest yung character nyo on how to respond to negative emotion so that you can turn them into positive experience. Kaya ako na nagsasabi sa inyo, true strength is measured during the darkest hour. It's not when things are going great. It's what you do, what kind of person you are when nothing is going to your favor. Ito yung mga time na walang nakakakita ng hustle mo. Ito yung mga time na you are nobody, no one's cheering for you, or people are doubting you. Ito yung mga bagay na yun. How do you perform? How do you work? Even though you're feeling negative emotion during those lowest times of your life. Kaya kayo, kung kayo yung tao na parang malungkot ka, galit ka, may problema ka, natanggalan ka ng trabaho, you're frustrated, you're jealous of someone, you lost a relationship, you're grieving, but regardless of those experiences, regardless of the accompanying emotions that you may feel out of those experiences, you're still here. And you're still doing what you're supposed to do because again, guys, at the end of the day, this is what matters. This is what success cares about. It doesn't care about whether you are a positive person or a negative person. As long as you're respecting people around you, as long as wala kang tinatapakan, as long as nabubuti yung ginagawa mo, and you're always creating. That's the most important part, guys, is kahit ano yung nararamdaman mo, always create, right? Always give value to other people. Kapag ganun ang mentality mo, you will be just okay regardless of what you feel right now. I'll see you in the next video.